And you can see both towers burning. I think everybody pretty much knew this was no accident.
Now it's clear. You have one, you have two, you know what's happening, and you're already thinking, is there another one coming? And I'm in an aircraft, and if it's behind me, I'm not going to see it. All these things are racing through your mind that quickly. But if I'm going to be out here in this, I might as well do the job.
We are flying downtown, getting close to the World Trade Center. You see people streaming uptown. Just people are flowing uptown like I've never seen before. People are crying, people are hysterical.
As we came over the Henry Hudson Bridge, and the bridge was being shut down as we approached it. I think they let us through because we were a news vehicle. They shut the road down behind us.
I remember having this conversation with Marty along the way where I said, we should really try to get into the tower so we can document the firefighters and their heroism and their dedication and how they were going to be getting people out of the building and saving people. I said, we need to go show that. He's like, that's great, let's do it.
We went down the West Side Highway. We pulled over and what we knew was go live as fast as possible.
The city shut down the southbound lanes of the West Side Highway so that emergency crews only, fire trucks, NYPD trucks could get down here.
That was the first crew that started bringing us from the ground shots.
We get down to the scene and there's a jet engine laying on the corner.
Just blocks away, a plane engine sits on the sidewalk, burned.
I'm looking up, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. The gash in the building.
And I saw all of that thick black smoke billowing out of the first tower that was hit. And my first thought was, well, that's not a small plane, that's way too much smoke.
We didn't believe it until we saw it, because when we were going down 9th Avenue, we really couldn't see it. And then we cut over to Washington Street, and that's when you could start seeing the World Trade Center and the inside of it actually red hot inside there.
I was getting phone calls from network. What do you see? What do you see? What is that? And I said, sir, I'm no expert on holes in buildings made by planes. That is a huge hole.
I told Michelle, we're not going any further when we got to Canal Street. Michelle said, why? I said, because we're here to document the story, not to be the story. If that thing falls down, we're gonna get crushed, we're gonna die.
We went on the set, really not knowing a whole lot. You knew something was bad, you just weren't getting the pieces of what it was yet.
The story was evolving so quickly to keep updating. And we actually had a lot of people calling in.
And all of a sudden it smashed right dead into the center of the World Trade Center.
People describe what happened.
Like a drunk driver. It just kept on going and realized what was going on and tried to turn to the left.
One of the most memorable ones is somebody that was on 60-some floor calling in saying, I'm here.
I am here and I'm stuck right now.
Not sure whether I'm above or below where the plane hit.
Are you above, Jim, or below?
I have no idea. I have no idea where the plane hit.
Right now, everything's under control.
I want to tell anybody that has a family member that may be in the building that the situation is under control for the moment.
And he, of course, ended up dying when the buildings collapsed.
A continuous breaking news story like that doesn't really have an end is that especially the first couple hours, the flood of information that came, how do you separate X happens and is it tied to Y? And if it's not, then what's it tied to? Is it just coincidence or circumstances?
This is not an accident. This is terror. And we knew it. We didn't have confirmation on it, but your heart knew it. And it was scary. It was very, very scary to think that we were being attacked.
By that time, Jim Dolan came in, and he came on the set.
It was 8:48 this morning when the world changed forever.
For a number of reasons, they had me go to the anchor desk that day. In part because I had a background in covering terrorism. I was interested in it. I knew who Zawahiri was. I knew who bin Laden was. I knew a little bit about Al-Qaeda. Multiple attacks fit into the Al-Qaeda plan. All of this fit into what Al-Qaeda had already been doing around the world. Terrorism was something that happened elsewhere.
It wasn't that much longer after that President Bush from Florida goes before cameras and says,
terrorism against our nation will not stand.
It was the first time we were experiencing an attack on America this big and people trying to process that.
They're using planes as missiles to try and bring down those two buildings. I remember we got down fairly close to the towers, and it was just a chaotic scene. I remember seeing lots of debris, metal, paper raining down from the towers, smoke billowing out.
Our job as reporters is to get as close as possible to see what's going on. So we were just, getting down there as quickly as possible without knowing what we were walking into.
And I remember thinking, I can't get down there fast enough. And I saw a delivery man, and I said, I need your bike. I'm a newscaster, I need your bike, I've got to get down there. I remember just pedaling and pedaling.
When we got probably a block or two away, a police officer started going, go back, screaming, go back, go back. Gotta move back. And that's when I saw Lauren Glassberg.
It was chaos. I mean, people were screaming and looking up, and I just sort of wandered around trying to figure out what exactly was going on. And I remember standing on a street corner and saw Nina Pineda, who is one of my best friends.
We saw each other, we saw the police officer was screaming, get down, get back.
If a first responder is telling me, get down, there's going to be an explosion, then I better probably listen.
As the guy's screaming, he's like, take cover. So Lauren and I crouch behind a car.
What's happening? I remember just saying, Nina, we've got to get down, we've got to get down.
I remember being afraid for her, for me. She was my best friend.
Kind of holding on to each other. I'm sure she said, Glassy, we're gonna be all right. That's totally Nina.
And then we realized, okay, we have a second here maybe to get further away. Let's get back up and keep going. I don't think you could be that close to 3,000 people dying and emotionally, spiritually not just feel that weigh on you. I mean, it took us a long time to function as humans. And that's for us. We were covering it. These families that never were the same again have much bigger burden than we do.